Tell me the truth. Are you not mesmerized? Are chills not going up and down your skinny little spine?
What do you do all day? Not a goddamn thing. When was the last thing you did anything over there at that studio? Never.
Specifically,
you never.
I know your dream.
Well, hello, everybody. Mike will be screening today, for those of you calling in. You can ask for Mike. The call-in number right off the bat, because we do need callers, even before I say hello to my co-host, I want to give you the number. It's 323-417-6705. Jen, are you there?
I am here.
Well, you know, I was going to wait till the end because you wrote up an agenda. You told me not to sing your happy birthday till the end, but I can't not mention that it's your birthday. I can't wait for that. So, For those of you who don't know, it's Jen's birthday right now. She's 36 years old. Happy birthday, Jen.
Thank you, Jake. That sounded completely sincere. And
it was completely sincere. I'm kind of flattered that you've chosen to spend your birthday as my co-host because even though you're 36, it's not like you're 13. I know what you mean. They're not a big deal. But if it were my birthday, I wouldn't be doing anything remotely cool to help you in any way, shape, or form. So I'm kind of flattered.
Well, to take away the flattery, it was this or be at a kid's party for another hour. So.
Well, what's sad is I don't think they're really that much different.
The kids' party in your show?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of just whiny, I'm talking about myself now, just a whiny, spoiled brat who, just basically stomps his feet and doesn't get to the point, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So, but this is better because at least
with that five-year-old about.
What's that?
5-year-old, would it be your equivalency?
Mentally?
Yeah, and emotionally.
I think mentally I'm probably 5 years old. That's a good point. You've got it. Emotionally, I think I'm a sage, like a freaking Buddhist monk sage prophet.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm.
And I got to tell you something. I listened to our show last week. Oh, by the way, Mike, thank you so much because the theme song is not continually playing underneath us right now, which is already making for a better show. Last week was just a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Mike. But anyway, where was I going with this? Your birthday?
Last week.
Oh, so I listened to the show. Yeah. It just took me like so friggin' long to get to the point. And I have this problem. Jen, you have had many private conversations and emails and texts and DMs on Twitter with me. At this point, am I at all what you expected, a month ago when I invited on the show? Or is it a whole different level of anxiety behind the curtain?
Yeah, I expected to be led.
Yeah, you didn't expect me to dump all the work on you.
And it's not quite what I thought. Yeah, but no, it's working.
That's what my wife says too. I guess I can give the appearance that I'm very in control and confident and got my stuff together, but that's just a house of cards, man. Such a house of cards. So, Jen, for those of you who don't know, she's been helping me organize my thoughts. She even typed up a little agenda so I can stay on topic. So, enough talking about getting on topic. I say we just get on topic. What do you say? Great.
Let's do it.
Well, happy birthday. Enough talking.
Thank you.
Oh, I also listened to the show last week, and I thought it was really good. We did the sort of a battle of the sexes and helped smooth over some stuff between men and women. We've for those who didn't listen last week, I thought it was very informative from both sides. I explained to Jen, what a man expects in a relationship and how you can get better, you can make your relationship better if you just take care of him sexually and he'll do more around the house. And Jen was saying, if you do more around the house, she'll give you more sexual favors. But I thought, I got a lot of messages during the week that it was informative and a lot of people were happy. With that said, I spent a little time earlier in the week after listening to the show, and I was thinking, it's such a problem for me to not get on topic. It takes me a while, and I don't know why that is. So I wrote this blog. I thought, if I write my ideas down and type them down, maybe I can go back and read them later, and it'll make a little bit more sense. It didn't help at all. And what I really discovered is I have this huge problem. Can you hold on a second? Can you please not do that? Jeez. My wife's sitting here fingering herself with my breakfast sausages. It's very hard to focus. This is why I can't focus. I was going to say, as some learning disabled, my wife comes in and shoves sausages in her vagina. Okay. Anyway, so I wrote this blog, right? And I'm like trying to get my ideas out, and I realized it's not even. I used to think I was too smart, Jen. Like my mind was just too fast, and I'm a super genius. What I realized is I'm just really lazy. I'm just really disorganized, and I am a product of what I cannot stand. And by that I mean I talk a lot on the show about this generation, baby boomers and kids and parenting, and it's something I'm very, very passionate about. And I couldn't figure out why I was getting so angry at the way a lot of kids are these days. They don't want to work. They don't understand, the basic tenets of success. They're all just sort of drifting around and awash, and it makes me angry. And I realize the reason it makes me angry is because that's me. I can't do it, and it's not because, like I said, it's not because I'm super smart. Unfortunately, I would have loved it to be that. It's that I don't understand that I need to work. Jen, you've been with me now almost a month. You say you expected to be led. What you're really saying is I don't really do crap during the week for this radio show.
I think if I didn't push you a bit, you wouldn't do crap on
right.
this radio show.
And that is true. That's absolutely true. And it's not that I don't care. I care about the show a lot. It's just I expected to turn on the radio, talk, and just dazzle people with my awesomeness, to rise to the top of the charts, to be an instant success, save lives, change lives.
Roseanne's son?
No, it's not. It's not Roseanne's son. I thought that too. It's not. That I can tell you with utmost confidence. It's not the celebrity kid thing. It's the thing I always rail against. It's the everybody gets a trophy thing. I'm a product of that generation. We were told as kids that every word we said was golden and special, and I was the center of parties, and I would do a little tap dance, and everyone would laugh. So I've always assumed everybody was clapping and really excited because I was a natural born performer, not because they just felt horrible. Oh, good, Eli's here, everybody. Not because they just felt horrible for me or thought, let's just please this child, which you see everywhere. If you watch a lot of parents now and the way they're with their kids, it's like the kid could, poop his diaper and everybody will give him a round of applause. So it hit me. I come across so angry all the time because it's a mirror. Everybody's a mirror to me. I cannot function and organize my thoughts because I don't think I need to. I think I'm golden God. I really do. So I'll go on the air and I won't prep. I won't research. I'll just sort of blabber, and then I go, on Twitter afterwards or Facebook, or wherever I tune out for my fake faux celebrity, and I expect people to go, "Oh my God, Jake's, he saved my life. He's so awesome," and it doesn't happen. So then I get mad. And what's funny is this week, and only Jenn knows this, and Eli, of course. I keep this stuff hidden. I had almost a borderline meltdown because I was losing followers on Twitter. Which is something I would totally insult somebody else for doing. Like, it's just Twitter. My cyberbully talk, everybody that's ever listened to me knows I can sit there and go, oh, it's just the Internet, it doesn't count, which is true. However, it doesn't mean I'm excused from it. I'm just as screwed up as everybody I can't stand, because when I'm going on here and I'm expecting a round of applause every time I say something and followers are dropping or, the show's not already, nationally syndicated, I feel as if it's not going to work. And usually I find I look at my life and my career and work and everything I've ever started. I'm surprised my mother still employs me. I get to the point where it's just too hard. It's too hard to continually persevere and work for something.
And how long have you worked on this radio show? Like, how long have you worked at being on radio?
Officially, counting Mom firing me, probably, I guess she did fire me, I think about it. Less than a year, I would say.
Yeah, you definitely need to work longer than a year to expect results that you want.
We'll see. If I pull out the boomer junior, I call him, the child of a boomer, and I pull it out and I look at it with the rational mind that I do have, because I do have it. I mean, everybody's a contradiction. I'm just being more honest here, by the way. None of you are escape this. We all make judgments on other people. That's probably why everybody else is so celebrity obsessed or cares about pop culture things I could give two shits about, because I really started thinking, because everybody either wants to see these people succeed so they can live vicariously through them, or fail so that they can satisfy and sate their own need to satisfy the fact that they never do anything. So we're all sick, okay? It's not just me. Everybody here, everyone listening, everybody I've ever come in contact with, none of us want to admit the ugly sides. And I just, this is my ugly side. It's just I can't persevere. I don't understand that you need to continually work at something. It does not make sense to me.
You're a lazy fucker. That's how you.
I'm lazy, but I know I'm going to get a lot of people mad because it's going to sound like we're a little.
You go to work every day. I know that, but.
What's that?
You go to work every day, so you're not.
Yeah, no, I'm at work.
Lazy, but
no. I work 9 to 6, and and people know that I've worked with. When there's been a deadline or a project needing to be completed, the people won't deny it. I will outwork everybody, or at least work as hard as the hardest working guy. I'll be there. I've pulled 24-hour shifts, 36-hour shifts. I've worked my ass off at times. It's just I'm not a self-starter. I'm not a self-motivator. So if there may be the deadline's 2 weeks away, we're not going to work on it, for the next 6-7 days. Okay? But it'll get done. I never missed a deadline. Everywhere I've ever worked, I have been promoted, for the record. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm such a little shit. Okay? I do understand the basics here. All I'm saying is, it's my generation. It's the way in which I was raised, and it's not just unique to my family. It's not because I'm a celebrity kid, which a lot of people think. It's literally, we were raised, everyone my age and down, and even a few years older like you, Jen, not every one of us was taught, you've got to work hard. You've got to persevere. It's going to suck. You're going to get fired time and time again. You've got to keep calling and staying on top of people. For me, I feel insecure just promoting the show, which you both know, because I feel like it's so gross. I have to keep saying, hey, this much. I hate that. I hate every time I do it. So it's completely irrational, but it comes from, not wanting to overburden people or overwhelm people. And also, I just want instant gratification. I want what I want now. I want to be successful now, not 10 years from now. I don't want to do the drudgery and the work and the failure. I mean, there's so many shows here that have been good that I've done. There's been a lot that have been plain crap. And I just put those out of my mind because it's like, something was wrong that day. It's not me. It's not that I didn't read enough or research enough or that I couldn't have made a deeper, better point. It's everybody else is stupid. That's how I've been justifying. So
look at your revelation just over a few weeks. You're looking at yourself. I'm proud of you.
Well, thanks, Jen. You're not even close to this. If this were a pyramid, personality pyramid, you're still at the bottom. So don't be pulling rank like condescend me how proud you are. You're a hot
I'm very
man.
proud of you. I am your elder, just so you know. So.
That's even more. You should feel terrible that I'm better than you in every way, and you're older than me.
Except persevering and all the things you aren't.
Well, you know what? This is the thing. This is what happened to me. Okay. So I'm this way. I'm this kid. My brother-in-law, he used to run the studio I work at. He hired this guy. His name is Vince. I don't want to give. He's very private. He was like this older guy. He's older than me. All right. He's an older man. He's from a different generation. Okay. The next one up. And he's old school. The guy's like, he'll work hard, he researches, he studies, and him and I have the most unlikely of friendships because we both couldn't stand each other for the longest time. Still, we're like an old married couple. We fight. We work together. Vince is the one that made those great campaign videos for Mom. He's a genius. And, he kind of took me under his wing. He's also my martial arts sensei when we used to train. Long story short, him and I would always have these great fights where he would always try and tell me, you've got to work, you've got to get up, you've got to keep making that phone call every day. And I would talk like those idiots that read The Secret, who I can't stand. I would say things like, if it's meant to be, it'll manifest. If I just visualize it, it will work. So again, I'm not the only one doing this. That book is a national bestseller, okay? So I just want to keep clarifying. I'm having a nice moment of looking inward, but again, this is a larger problem. And we even had a talk yesterday when I was about ready to quit this whole thing. I'm like, it doesn't work. I'm ready to quit. And he looked me in the face. He's like, you talk like you have nothing. I had nothing when you found me. He was homeless when we hired him. And we just hired him to paint things around the studios. This sort of weird, quiet, older guy who needed to make a few bucks. He was living on a roof somewhere. Long story short, we have these competing theories. And this is what got me thinking, okay? This is the point I'm going to make. This is why I cannot stand baby boomers, because what they've instilled in me and my peers is this, I've talked about it before, this fake self-esteem, this fake you're special, this constant fake everything you do is golden. And we're a generation of people who believe it. And we expect literally everything to work overnight. That's why we're all on Facebook and Twitter, myself included, completely obsessed. Obsessed with celebrities or each other, because it's like tuning into this thing where you're basically in a small world. You're your own celebrity. You have followers. Facebook, they're your friends, and if you ever just objectively pull back and look at the way people communicate nowadays, there's no back and forth. It's literally, I'm special. Everything I say is golden. Check out this, video of my cat farting, and everybody comments with a thumbs up or a retweet, and you get to feel like you're special.
Oh, and the one negative comment, trust me, that you get, it can cause the end of a friendship.
That is true too, and I mean, look at cyberbullying now. Because if you tell somebody, "Hey, your video of the cat is kind of lame," now they'll drop you as a friend. They'll hate you because now what you're doing, it's not cyberbullying. You're saying, "Look, you're not really that interesting. You're really not that special." And nobody in this generation, my generation, can handle that. We cannot handle being told, you're kind of average. That is what maybe our grandfathers, who fought in World War II, that equates to them literally getting like fingers blown off on the battlefield. That's how painful it is to hear you are not special. And I always talk about these things, and I'm so angry, and I sound so depressive. But the thing is, I just want to clarify: there is a happy medium. There is a place where we can all sort of mend and live in, and it's a beautiful place. It's just not the way things are now. And what happened is our parents, those baby boomers, that word I use all the time, they grew up in a different era. They grew up when they watched their parents fight in wars. They watched their parents go through the Depression, literally lose everything. And it was a different time. It was all about work. And if you work hard, you'll achieve something. It was about, America used to be a foundation on building things and working in factories and getting your hands dirty. And you always hear the mom and dad were sleeping, different rooms, and there just was this sort of feeling. And this, again, I wasn't alive back then. This is my opinion and theory. I could be wrong, but it looks to me like that generation instilled into our parents this weird message, which is work your ass off, slave your life away, and then you'll die unhappy. You'll never have a fulfilling relationship. Marriage is just a means to an end. Work sucks. You might get a watch and a pension if you're lucky, but that's as good as it gets. That's the American dream. You'll get a house. And our parents watched that and thought, that's not good. That's not enough. I don't want to work so that I can just have a house and a mortgage and a spouse that I don't really care for. So they went the other way. They were kind of raised in this repressive time, and they thought, you know what, when I'm older and when I have kids, I'm going to tell them to be creative, to not slave away at a job that's meaningless. Find something that you love. Find work that you love. I'm telling you, our grandparents never said shit like that. They never said, oh, you got to get a job you love. They said get a job that has health benefits, that has a pension, that makes you good money. And even if you're miserable, that's as good as it gets. So our parents didn't like that, understandably. Plus, they grew up in a time of ducking their heads and feet under a table because they were under the constant threat of nuclear war. The civil rights movement hadn't even been born in the 50s yet. I mean, there was segregation in our schools. It was a troubling time. And what happened was there was a split, and these people, they became the hippies or whatever, 60s and 70s, and it was about love and expression and art and all these progressive things. And looking inward, the self-esteem movement, the therapeutic movement, it's a beautiful thing. It's like, look at our parents. They were so miserable. We don't want that, so we're going to create this world of jolly progression where you're beautiful and happy. And their heart was in the right place. And what's happening is everyone's like me. We're celebrity obsessed. We're Twitter and Facebook obsessed. We don't work. We don't understand the work. We don't understand any sort of thing in the concept of reality. We're living in a fantasy because they reacted. When they decided, these baby boomers decided to have kids, they reacted from reaction to the way they were raised. So basically, they swung the pendulum the other way. They said, this is too repressive and this isn't me. So I'm going to swing it all the way to the other side. Well, balance is in the middle. Happiness is in the middle. I believe that. Who am I? Who fucking cares? I'm a celebrity kid. What the hell do I know? I don't really care anymore. I'm not even going to explain it to you guys. I think these things through. If you really put your bullshit aside, you'll know what I'm talking about is the truth. Balance is in the middle. We should be understanding that we have to work hard, persevere. A handshake should mean what it used to mean. And their grandfathers in the 50s, they did a lot of stuff that was good too. It wasn't all repressive. They had honor and they had code. They believed in their word. It wasn't about greed. It wasn't a system of just make money, or they never said stuff like it's not personal, it's business. They understood it's all personal. And they cared about their neighbor, and you didn't have to worry about your kid going out in the street and getting butt fucked every single day by some creeper hanging out at a public school. So they had a lot of stuff right too. So if you have this feeling when you're raising your kids and trying to change the world where you're going to go so far to the other side, you're basically just as wrong. You're just on the other side. It's an analogy to the way the state of politics are in this country where, right in the middle, it all makes sense. You can be conservative and have morals, but at the same time, none of us want giant government, but we do want regulation. We don't want corporations raping us repeatedly every day and just being told that, they're rich and therefore they're better. It doesn't work. You can't go far on the other side. You have to be in the middle. So the reason I get so pissed, the reason I constantly talk about what pussies these kids are nowadays, why I get mad at the Puna lesbians, for instance, while I can support our troops and even contemplate joining the military myself, but at the same time recognize there is a military-industrial complex and people are getting raped left and right, because I'm in the middle. And this world today in America, what I see, it's too far the other side. It's too progressive. It's too feelings-based. It's too emotional. There is no personal responsibility. There is no self-acceptance. There is no, grandfather, I'm going to work my ass off today. There isn't that. That's why this country's falling apart. No one's working. No one's building anything. They're thinking, I'm going to go on Facebook, and I'm going to go on Twitter, and I'm going to be a celebrity, and I'm going to sell some shitty stock to some shitty person, and then the bank's going to, the taxpayers will bail me out, and nobody cares. There's no accountability. That's why we're all looking around right now saying, what is happening? What happened in this country? What happened? It's because we swung so far away from what made this country great because of the bad things of it. So what I want to say is, as far as and hard as I get on these boomers and these libtards and pussies that I cannot stand, I have to recognize what they've done. That's great. The civil rights movement, obviously. There is progression. Women are in the workplace. We do care about feelings. There's nothing wrong with caring about feelings. There's nothing wrong with protecting a kid that's being bullied. I maybe mix my messages sometimes. I just want there to be that 50s dad. I want that grandpa around that understood. You've got a bully pushing you, get up and dust off your pants and punch him in the face. I need that.
But then I have my son, this was just the other night we were talking about it again, not that he's having an issue, but just something came up, and just about him pushing back and he's like, but I'm not like that. Like in his little words that he could say, I am not that kind of person. Yeah, like I'm not mean like that. It's not in him to hurt back, and I want him to protect himself. So I was a little hard on him again, but I said, I need you to push back or people are going to keep pushing you, and it's not okay for people to push my boy, like almost
right.
as he needs to obey me in a sense, but he doesn't have it in him he doesn't have that nature to be aggressive, where his brother does. His little brother will drag someone by their hair if he has to. So
little brothers are like that because they have the older brother that's bigger and stronger. They feel they need to be stronger, so they usually
mine weigh the
overcompensate.
same. They're 20 months apart, and they weigh the same.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
you were on the bed,
little one's going to be we call him Big Little Brother. He's like you, Jake.
He is. Well, you know what? This is why I get so mad. That's to answer the question. Why do you care? Who are you? why do you give a shit? Why do you get so angry about these cyberbullies and fat people at NAFA? Why does it drive you so crazy? You know, Eli asked me last night at dinner if it was a mommy issue, which is what everybody always asks me. That's the first thing to go to. And you know what? Yeah, it is, in the sense that she's a boomer. She raised me a certain way. There's a lot of things she did that was remarkable. She made me creative. She inspired me creatively. It's something I find really important. I play instruments. I love movies and television. I do this radio show. I mean, I have a good mind to do that. It's something that excites me. My mother taught that to me. My father too. But did I get the understanding of how the world really is? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they.
When you were raised differently, as much as you want to say that being raised by celebrity isn't how this affects you, it did affect you in some ways. I mean, it has to be. You don't have the typical upbringing that and even I didn't. I was raised by a single mom. Most of my friends had married parents, and boomers, whatever, and were raised by a nuclear family.
Right.
Those are the typical families. Like, I don't think you had a typical one. I don't think you did until, 11 years old. So that's a pretty good chunk of time.
The thing is, if anything, why I'm maybe have a different perspective. Yeah, it's what it is. It wasn't the celebrity mother, because that's obviously, that is a different upbringing than most people have. But it was that it didn't happen until I was already formed, more or less. All therapists say the consensus is that your formative years are till you're 7, more or less. And you'll change and you'll always grow, but pretty much what happens those first 7 years is your foundation. So I had a normal family till I was 11. And normal, I mean my parents were married. We went to school. My mother was a housewife. My dad worked. It was the complete and normal gender roles that, whatever Focus on the Family thinks is normal, or any Santorum types or whatever. It was a normal family. Now, when my mom decided to try stand-up, it was just a hobby. None of us expected it to go where it went, obviously. I mean, it was a 1 in a million life. I mean, she basically won the lottery.
Especially for a woman back then.
Yeah, for a big fat woman.
Oh.
No, but it's true. I mean, you know what? Women did stuff
all
the time. No, but Jen,
she wasn't a stereotypical celebrity woman. I gotcha. Yeah.
Dude, women have always, look at Marilyn Monroe. I mean, go back. It doesn't matter how far back how you go. Women are always going to be popular and famous. It's usually because they're attractive. At least that's what gets them in the door. Then they go on and talk about stuff.
Though.
What's that?
Marilyn was a big girl, just saying.
No, she was a normal girl. You're also celebrity obsessed, or not celebrity obsessed, so fashion conscious and skinny.
I thought she was beautiful. I don't think ugly, but she wasn't the little celebrity.
No, if you saw her in the street, she would be a normal looking person. The women that are popular now, they're like, famous celebrities. They're like 17 pounds. They look anorexic. It's disgusting. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, my mother was a loud, fat Jew who made it. She made it with humor, so it really had never been seen. But what is different is that, I'll tell you this, I got to see what happens when you become famous. Because, again, I was 11 when my mom got the sitcom. Before then, she was a comic. She had a decent career, but she wasn't obviously the level of fame that she was till the sitcom. The sitcom happened when I was 11. So I can tell you...
so your early childhood, you had basically a nuclear family upbringing.
Yeah, my dad worked at the post office. We were going to work, and he was going to retire off his pension. And we were going to stay in Denver. I grew up in Denver. We were middle class, normal family. And then, boom, the roof blows off. We moved to L.A. My mom's instantly one of the most famous people on the planet. There was a point there when she was the hottest that she was the most famous person on the planet.
Wow, winning.
My Charlie Sheen famous. My dad and her divorced, which is not easy. Nobody likes that. She married Tom Arnold, who's a huge douche nozzle who should rot in hell for the rest of his life. So those years, my family, we're all private. If you ever get me and Jenny drunk, or Jess, or my dad, or even Mom, and we talk about the Tom years, we call them. They're a lot darker than people know, and no one will ever know how bad it really, really got. but that was also tied into fame. So here I am, 33 years old, looking back. You know what? I'm not normal. I'm not a normal person. I did not have a normal upbringing. You are correct. I had every kind of upbringing. You know, I've had the normal nuclear upbringing. I've had the fast-paced L.A. fame upbringing. We've had the national anthem where we were dodging bullets, more or less. People wanted to kill my mother nationally. I was hidden in the house with security guards outside. Literally, we could not go outside. There were death threats on my mother.
Wow. I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome, right?
I was a kid. I thought it was. I mean, she's a fucking comedian. You have a comedian sing the national anthem.
Well, looking back, yeah, it was a huge mistake. I wish I'd go back in time and talk her out of it. But again, you know, my mom's not famous for being rational. She's not famous. She wasn't a politician. She wasn't.
They set her up.
Well, she's a fat Jew lady from Denver. She's
can't
not,
sing.
Who can't sing, exactly. But again, I've been there. Then I've seen my mom go up. I've seen my mom go down. I've seen it crash. I've seen my mother, you know, I don't want to get too personal, but I've seen her go off the deep end. I've seen her literally go stay in a facility for a short time, let's just say, out of state, at the request of a professional.
Always out of state, right?
It's always got to be out of state. My dad was... Growing up, he was the man of the house, and then my mom became famous. My dad was the stay-at-home dad. I've seen both gender roles, which is why that's something I'm passionate about. I've had the dad is the dad and the mom is the dad, and vice versa. We've had money, we've had fame, we've had it drop, we've had it fall apart, we've had success, we've had up and down. My family, now, looking back over these years, it's a lot of different families. So what that did is that made me...
Unstable in a sense, yeah.
What's that?
It seemed unstable at some point from 11 on, I guess.
Well, I get this a lot from people, and it's kind of funny. But I get this question all the time. How are you normal? And it's a good question. And the truth is, I don't know. I really am normal. There is no weird... Shut up, Eli.
Kitty,
Eli.
kitty.
Don't go there, Eli, because I'll talk about you. Eli watches American Psycho probably like once a week. And that's
wow.
Eli. But anyway, besides, of course, it's a great movie. But anyway, I am normal. I don't care what Eli says. I'm dysfunctional. I have my problems. I have my issues. I have my neurosis. I have what I talked about at the beginning of the show. But we all have that. I consider that normal. But my profile. It's not a cat fetish. I care about my effing cats. That's another thing that pisses me off.
You talk about sticking your penis in them.
That's a sense of
anyway,
humor. And here's the thing. So I'm looking, right? I have all this sort of perspective that's all over the place that is unique to me. And you know what? I'm also somewhat intelligent. I'm not a genius. That's mostly in jest when I say that. But I'm relatively bright, okay? I'm above average intelligence. Not anything to be proud of. I'll probably, half the people on this phone call listening would probably beat me in an IQ test.
Who just said I always liked Tom Arnold? Who is that? Sorry.
Yeah, see, you can't go in the chat room. Stay off the chat room. Stay out of the chat room.
No, you need to. They have questions in here.
Okay, well, let me know if we get questions. Otherwise, please don't read anything to me. I'm way too oversensitive, and I'll quit the radio show if somebody hurts my feelings.
Oh, wow, you
just
little
kidding.
boomer baby.
Yep, exactly, see? So anyway, I'm looking, and here's the thing. Here's the reason I haven't become a serial killer, because it's been close. I always understood, for whatever reason, whether this is God-given, past life, astrology, it's unexplainable. I've always understood that I alone am responsible for the way in which I feel. I knew that as a kid. If something happened to me when I got bullied, for instance, I never went home and cried about it. I'm not saying I was tough. I just thought, what am I doing to get bullied? I was always that way. What can I do to change this? Because the situation, I'm not saying I blame the victim like my mother accused me of a couple weeks ago, but this situation has happened to me for a reason. And I control every situation more or less in my life. I knew that as a child. So the reason that I'm quote-unquote normal, or that I am passionate, or that I can do this radio show and talk about things when people go, you have no credibility, you're not a licensed therapist, you're not a journalist, who the fuck are you? You know, I get the question, but the point is, I'm just a person who understands that very, very important distinction.
You've had a lot of life experience.
I I have had a life experience, and
Like, I hate that I can relate to almost everything people talk about. Like, it almost seems like I'm a know-it-all with trauma or a know-it-all with everything in my life. But, I mean, it's the same thing. I don't have any professional qualifications except for teaching. But other than that, almost anything people talk about I can relate to, even racism, So it's life experience that really makes us connect to people.
It's life experience, and it's objectivity. And it's personal responsibility. If you can be objective and responsible for yourself, then you can allow your mind to wander anywhere. For instance, racism, let's use that as an example. Everyone's like, oh, I'm not racist. It's bullshit. Everyone's racist. You're all I'm racist. It's found out of prejudice. It's you prejudge. It's very, very normal. Now, if you're a mature adult, if you are objective and responsible for your feelings, you'll go past that initial thing. You'll go, you know what? It's not about color. It's more socioeconomic, for instance. That's a more mature view on things. Okay? People with better educations, people with, more opportunities tend to be less criminal than those that don't. It's just socioeconomics about money. I'm scared of white trash people just like I'm scared of black trash people. If you see
a toothless white trash person, I'm a little more afraid of.
It's true. Well, people always say you're racist because my Vince, for instance, always says I'm racist and scared of black people. I'm not scared of black people. Seriously, if a black person walks in, if they're well put together, I'm not scared. If they come in, they're toothless and they're shaking and they're like, man, I need a hit, I'm going to be terrified, just as I would if it was a white or Mexican person with no teeth and they look like they're strung out on meth and they're going to murder me. It doesn't matter your color. We
have a caller on the line.
Oh, sweet. So then I guess you're telling me to stop talking then, Jen. So.
Yeah, pretty much. Can I mute you? I have to do it once.
You just muted me. Kevin from Santa Maria. Kevin, you're on the air.
Jake, this is my favorite brother-in-law, FIFA soulmate. How are you doing today?
Oh my God, Jen, and this is my future brother-in-law. If
from
my little
week.
sister doesn't dump. This is the guy who we talked about last week. Who's my little sister called me because she wanted to dump him because he ate his dirty fingernails and got E. coli.
The ones that pretend they don't have sex.
Yeah, I know, Kevin. You are a virgin, yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Yes, it was brilliant. Oh yes, and I have to say hi to Eli. Thanks, Eli, for that.
He didn't answer your question, so
no,
there you go,
he's the
Jake.
sound effect. He was thanking for the sound effect.
Love it. Well, yes, that is correct, and the show was brilliant last week. Phenomenal. I was on my table clapping every second of it. So.
Thank you. I'm surprised you're calling. Aren't you working right now?
I am working, but I said I had to listen in, and you are awesome. I love it. You are smart. You are intelligent.
Thank you.
Although I will admit, I am like you. When I'm on Facebook, I'll put on something, I'll get one like, I get excited, and I look at my mother, so I know how you feel.
Isn't that the worst? Hey, you know what's worse than that? When your own mother doesn't even do that. When you get no likes.
Oh, or your mother's bickering with you on it. She's
yeah, my mother will call and say, you're stupid, you're fired from radio, you suck. But, I would take the thumbs up over it. I think that's a little bit
heartbreaking.
No, you get over it. Here's the thing. You're too young to know this, Kevin, because you're only 19. Alcohol. You just drink lots and lots of alcohol. And
there we go.
Anything.
Very problem.
Well, I'm glad you called it. Do you have any questions about today's topic? You just called it to kiss my butt.
I just called to tell you keep up the great work. I love it.
Thank you. Well, look at that. Why can't I get more people like that?
I know. Isn't it wonderful? All right.
It really is, Kevin. All right. Kevin, I love you. Thank you.
Bye.
I just want to say, that's what I need, Jen. I don't need you to threaten to mute me or your shitty emails. That's what I need. I'm a child of a boomer. I need to be praised constantly and told how special I am.
You need exactly what I'm giving you, like you dish it to people. You need it. You are a boomer baby. Look at our boomer babies. What are those, boomer the thirds? But like the generation
boomer
my
juniors?
kids are growing. Well, we're boomer junior. Our boomer junior, so boomer the third. But those kids, my son's age, all those kids, these are the ones that are seriously pampered. Like literally, like you brought it up before, Alicia Silverstone, pampering her kids so much that she chews her food up.
Our kids are none of our kids. Pretty soon they're going to outlaw like skin knees when you trip. They're going to start suing the floor when kids trip and skin themselves.
The sidewalk, it was a little rough.
It's too rough. Sue the city. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Alicia Silverstone's one of those idiots that I cannot stand. And Jen, I just want to clarify because it's in your notes that I need to say this. This is the reason I'm such a douche and such a dick, okay? Jen wants me to tell you guys this. She's gotten to know me a little bit. The reason I'm so angry and insulting and call people fatty and talk about Chaz Bono's plastic dick is because I look at the world and I'm terrified. Like I said at the beginning of the show, the pendulum has swung too far, okay? You cannot deny it. It's too far into the happy feelings. You know, Ravi's going to go to prison for saying, great, my roommate's gay. That kind of stuff. There's a theme to my show. So here's a perfect example. So I just want to say, I'm trying to shock and insult those of you that are way too far gone because I'm trying to bring you to the middle, okay? I just want to say that. That's what I'm doing. That's what the show's about. Soon my blog will come. That's why I'm a doucher on Twitter. That's why Jenn is my co-host, even though she was this femmy twat that I fought with for 2 months about feminism, who she's still out of her friggin' gourd about. Last week she wouldn't even have sex with her husband, for Christ's sakes. That's why Jenn is my co-host.
Oh, my gosh, I'm pregnant, you fucker.
I'm trying to bring this balance. So anyway, yeah, Alicia Silverstone is one of these twats that I can't stand, who's to the point now where she thinks it's bonding. Here's what she does. You can check the video online if you haven't seen it. She eats food, chews it up, then she takes her 11-month-old, opens his mouth like a bird, and then spits the chewed-up food into his mouth.
Yeah, you guys have to watch it if you haven't seen it, because I heard it and it sounded okay, but I pictured her chewing up her food, putting it in her hand, and putting it in his mouth. She deep throats him or something. Like, it's weird.
They're like
really
weird. They look like open mouth. She looks like she's making out with an 11-month-old. Now, I try and be a little bit open-minded and go, another topic I talk about on this show a lot, something I believe in, is that, we're still the same animal that was the caveman. I've already shot that down. And that, again, I'm not a scientist, but it's true. I know what I'm talking about. Go talk to your local scientist, wherever he is. We have not evolved. The human brain has not changed or evolved since for the last 100,000 years, okay? We're the same animal, which means we have the same fears. We still do all the same crap, okay? Evolution's a myth. Mental evolution, spiritual evolution. It's a myth created in some, by the Puna lesbians, if you will, okay? It doesn't happen. You're still the same idiot animal you were, okay? So I'm normally for this kind of thing when somebody does something in raising their kid that I see in the wild. Like, if you pay attention to the wild, if you're objective, like myself, you'll see animals when the kid does something stupid or is going to get hurt. Like the mama polar bear, she'll smack him on the butt. She'll give him what they call cuffing. If the little polar bear's on the verge of falling off a cliff, she'll smack him back and say, don't go there, you idiot, in animal speak with a big old slap, which is why I don't have a problem with spanking. Obviously, I'm probably going to lose another 100 followers for that one. But that's very natural. The physical sensation you give to your kid, if you do it appropriately, I'm not talking about punching your kid in the face, but a little cuff is very natural. It happens in the wild. We've done it for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years. So normally, wherever we stand on an issue, I usually go first in my head, what would the caveman do? And I don't look at that down with negative judgment that most people do. I think it's awesome. I think the caveman, since we haven't evolved, is us. How did they do before they got all in the Puna lesbian craze? So I see.
They drug women around by their hair. That's how.
See, that's what you get it now. It's so much better.
That's what you want.
That's still happening. You can deny it all you want, Jen. It still happens. It still.
You want kids shocked.
Again, the shocking thing, which I couldn't load earlier in this week, Jen, you're all over the place, Jen. This kid was in this mental hospital, like the one Jen was sent to. These mental hospitals where crazy people like Jen go. And he was in this school, and not for shocking. It was, your mother had shock treatment, yes?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
ECT,
so there is, I do know what I'm talking about. It is, and it was helpful to her, yes?
Yes, it worked better than any medicine, to be honest.
Yes,
but it was
and
different.
It's still
it's
a practice.
Parts of the brain. It's not cattle prodding, but yeah.
No, they electrocute your brain. It resets because your brain is controlled by electrical impulses. So
I compare it to my friends. Like if you're having irregular heart rhythms, it helps put them back on track. So irregular brain rhythms, same type of idea.
That's the theory. It quiets the storm, starts over, and it has had decent results. Also had terrifyingly horrible results, like everything.
Oh yeah.
In psychiatric
you can't remember
medicine.
my name. Yeah.
Exactly, and it looks barbaric, and it is. I'm not for it necessarily. To me, I find the outrage against it kind of hysterical because what therapists, they used to do lobotomies where they drill through your eyeball into your brain. Now they give you chemical lobotomies through the guise of antidepressant drugs, which do far more damage than electrocuting a brain. I would rather my kid get his head wired into a car battery and electrocuted than be put on antidepressants. And again, who are you? You don't know what you're talking about? I do know what I'm talking about. I researched this better than anybody. Antidepressants do far more damage than electroshock treatment. The problem I have with this video that we're talking about earlier this week is this kid was shocked 37 times, was that it was used, it wasn't a treatment like your mother had. It was a punishment. And I'm not okay with that. I'm not saying if your kid's acting up, let's strap him to a chair and electrocute him 30 times. I think that is barbaric. That's not a cuff like the Mama Polar Bear was talking about. It's barbaric. However, this was not your regular Sunday school. This was a facility center for aggressive children. And he was asked repeatedly to take his jacket off and refused. He was a troubled teen like Jenn was when she was locked away. So here's a guy that's in the school for aggressive, troubled teens because his mom's an idiot who can't raise him and rather send him to a facility where people do this kind of thing because she's a shitty mother. And, of course, she's the one suing them now for torture because she's, found a past to forgive her for all her mistakes. This kid was asked to take off his jacket. He didn't. They shocked him with the taser. He went to the ground. And then, because he was still acting up, they chained him face down or tied him face down and then electrocuted him 37 times. So I didn't say I was for it. It just didn't shock me as much. It's not nearly as bad for you as antidepressants.
It shocked him way more than you.
It was much more shocking for him, let me tell you. But where's my rim shot, Eli? Eli, you got to get on these sound effects. Where's the rim shot?
Was he at least disciplined, at least, after all the shocking?
Well, that's open for interpretation, and I don't know. But what's funny about it is that the kid's a puss. You watch this video, and even before the shocking happens, he's like one of those kids that's like, like if you tell him, hey, can you put your pencil away while the teacher's talking? Everyone knows a kid like that. And he was refusing to take off his jacket. And when you watch the video, the beginning of it, when they tie him down, they're not even electrocuting him yet. He's going, which makes it look like it's torture. That's why everyone's outraged and saying this is torture. Because you see this kid.
We shock Jake and see if he cries a little too.
This is such a good idea I had this morning. That's what I want to do. I've already contacted them to see if they won't do it so far, preliminary.
But I will gladly. I have complete access to tasers.
Dude, I will gladly let you taser me on the air. I'm saying it right here. 37 times an hour.
No, we're going to make a YouTube video. If I get to tase you, it's on fucking video.
Dude, it's done, Jen. And I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. I'm just not a giant vagina pussy who's going to go, when you watch that video, it looks
he'll cry, people.
Let me just get it out, Jen. It looks so much worse than it really is all I'm saying. I'm against it. I think it's barbaric, and to use it as discipline is ridiculous. However, the kid's a screamer, okay? I do martial arts with a 14-year-old. He's kind of a little bit of a whiner, okay?
Yeah, I don't make sounds when I get hurt, but who cares? That's how he hurts.
But it's let me just put it this way. I do martial arts. There's a 14-year-old in my class, and his mother and grandmother were watching us wrestle one time. And we were going around, and he was going, and they were getting all uncomfortable. Like, oh, you're being so mean to him. Meanwhile, when we were done wrestling, I got up and had blood dripping down my face because he kneed me in the nose. And my nose was bleeding. And he's a big kid, too. Okay, he's actually my size. He's a giant 14-year-old, I just want to say. But I was quiet. And we were rolling around, and I'm thinking, like, oh, I got to block this move, blah, blah. But he's like, So anyone looking would think I'm literally torturing this 14-year-old kid to death. I'm the one bleeding. So the point here is when you watch that video, I encourage you to go look it up on YouTube. I'm not for it. I'm not saying it was okay.
He's saying he's a pussy when he got shocked, so we will shock Jake.
He's a pussy. No, if he got shocked and was like, fine. I will grunt. When you shock me, I'll probably go, But I'm not going to go,
But they kept shocking him. I'm going to keep shocking you.
Well, that's why they kept shocking him, because he wouldn't shut up. First of all, here's a lesson for all you. I'm going to lose another 100 followers. Here we go, 100 down. When a guy's holding jumper cables next to you at a facility for screwed up kids, and you're the screwed up kid, and he asks you to take your jacket off, you take your jacket off. That's another boomer thing. Nowadays, we tell our kids, oh, you get in trouble at school? Well, we're going to go sue the teacher. It's never the kid's fault. The old days, that 50s dad, if you come back, and I know I'm jumping around here, but I don't care. If you come back and you say, my teacher got mad at me, you know what the dad in the 50s would say? What did you do? What did you do to make your teacher mad? Then the pendulum goes crazy town. Fast forward now, and you come and go, the teacher was mad at me. Well, we're going to sue her and get her fired. That's reality. Look at your newspaper. That happens every day. Football coaches, high school football coaches are being fired for yelling. One guy did a tackle drill with his kids. He let them tackle him. One of the kids bounced off him, fell on his collarbone, snapped his collarbone. They fired the coach, and it was playful. High school football. Okay, this wasn't 7-year-olds. This was high school football. The coaches are getting fired for yelling. So it's gone crazy. So this kid that's getting electrocuted, it's way worse than it looks. Is all I'm saying. I'm sorry. It looks way worse than it really is. Let's be honest, Jen. Your mother's been electrocuted multiple times.
She also got to be probably put under and have relaxing medication before they zapped her, and it's a different part. It's inside your brain. I actually have no idea how they did it, and I don't want to know.
All I'm telling you is if I put my kid in that school, I would tell him first day, when they ask you to take your jacket off, take your jacket off, because they're sadistic.
Yeah, and you know what? My biggest problem with that whole story is the mom. Or the parents. They sent him there. They couldn't discipline their own kid. And you know what? It's probably bullshit. They probably signed something that said they'll have some sort of physical discipline for their violent discipline-issued kid.
Right.
And the people videoed it. They obviously didn't have any shame or worry. The facility, what is it?
It was security. It was security cam footage. But
yeah, the Judge
denied.
Rosenberg Center, if anyone wants to try to look it up. But
look up Judge Rosenberg. See if anyone calls. See if they'll take me and shock me 37 times, because I would love to feel it.
It's in Boston. You can't afford to fly to Boston. You can drive out to where I live. We'll zap you.
Okay, Jen, it's done. I will let you.
I'm gonna talk to my husband. We'll get the taser, and they can use it for training on you. You'll be the bad guy.
I'm totally fine.
Wow,
we'll audio record it. I think that would be hilarious, radio. I'm more than willing to do that. I will put my body on the line.
This is a verbal contract, just so you know.
No, I'll sign it. You want to sign it? I'll sign it. Whatever you want, I'll do it. Okay? I think I'm not a wuss. All I'm saying, this particular video, they didn't want to put it in trial because the Rotenberg Center, which is probably weird, maybe they are screwed up and torturous. I don't know. But it's understandable when you watch this video why they wouldn't want it in court. Not because they're torturing the kid, but because the way the kid's screaming, it makes it look like torture. They were saying during the trial, this is standard practice we do all the time to the kids. It's never been an issue. This is one kid that's suing them for torture. That's why it's gone to court. This happens all the time at the school, by the way. Whatever school. It's weird, but it's their standard practice. So this one you got was that a taser sound effect?
And maybe if your mom sent you there instead of wilderness school, you wouldn't be so lazy. I mean, so not motivated or whatever. I'll
tell you this. I would not have been shocked one time at that school. Because you know why? When the guy with the jumper cable says, take off your jacket, I'm going to take off my jacket. I'm not going to be a punk. I respect authority. Even if they're screwed up. If you're in a school and there's an adult and you're there, I learned this. I got sent away. To this weird, creepy Outward Bound for, screwed up kids. I wasn't screwed up. I got put in with a bunch of drug addicts and kids that were stabbing people. I got sent there because I was talking in class. I was a class clown. My mother and Tom were in AA at the time, and they thought everything needed to be sent into some sort of facility. So I got sent.
Did you start at Tough Love?
It was 52 days in the wilderness. We hiked 180 forced miles. I was there literally with kids that were stabbing victims or had stabbed people, and I was there for telling jokes. You can imagine the first awkward couple days that I had at that camp, okay? It's not happy we're going to camp. It was a facility for screwed up teenagers. I got sent there. I was always, a polite, sweet kid. I never had any problem. Shut up, Eula. I never had any problem with any of those kids. In fact, what's odd is I had to lie that I was an alcoholic. I was 13 years old. I had to lie and say I had an alcohol problem so that they wouldn't beat me up because they thought something was wrong with me. There's no way you're here for talking out of turn. And that's what every kid that goes to these facilities say. They're like, I didn't do anything wrong. I literally had done nothing wrong. So I'm basically like all those movies where you're imprisoned, and you're innocent. It's like Shawshank Redemption, and with all these weird freaks, except I wasn't, raped, but outside of that, I'm in this weird thing. And you know what? I didn't say a friggin' word. When they said get up and walk, I got up and walked. When they said do your dishes, do your dishes. When they said this is how you're going to do it, I did it. Okay? So, again, you're in one of these facilities, you've got a problem, I get it. But we can't excuse this kid who's obviously a head case. He's in a facility, and whether it's his fault or not, or his bad parent, the point is, again, when I was put in this terrible camp with psychopaths. I didn't cause any trouble. I went about my business. I was the only one that never quit. Every other kid tried to run away. They tried to break out in the night. They took your shoes off at night like a chain gang so you couldn't run. This was the kind of place I was at for telling jokes in class. And I
was out stuck in Oklahoma, and they had no locks on the door because there's no fucking place to go in the middle of Oklahoma.
You were in one of those schools, one of those places where they tied you up, right?
No, that was out here in North Hollywood. But yeah, no, that was one of my other places.
That was at a club.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, that too. No, Oklahoma, they didn't lock the doors or anything, but you open the door, it was cow pastures. Like, there's nowhere to go. It was a weird, different kind of jail,
No, but that's what these are for. These are for kids with emotional problems, quote unquote. So that it's not a school where you're painting and having fun. You're literally locked up. I mean, the term locked up. My sisters went. That's another thing I didn't get to say in my tirade about who I am. By the time my sisters were 13 to 18, they were in mental hospitals.
Well, that's how Jenny and I connected on here and ganged up on you, too, though. But same thing. Jenny and I went through pretty much the exact same situations.
Jessica, too.
It's very, see, I didn't talk to Jessica about it.
Jessica
but
was
very freaky. You go to all these 30-day ones, and then, boom, you're gone for, the next 20 months, you're a kid. You lose your whole adolescence.
We can talk about that another time because we only got 3 minutes left. I definitely want to talk about it, but I'll tell you, the relationship I had with my sisters for my teenage years was visitations in a mental facility. And again, my sisters
But that's what the boomers did, though.
That's my point.
I think they created it. Yeah, they created it to where I was not grounded, not one time. And I did shit when I was a little kid, too, from 5 and up. And I never got grounded. I stole and didn't get grounded. I did so many little things, and never got in trouble. And then, boom, 13 all of a sudden. Maybe that's why they're called boomers, really. But, I'm 13 years old. All of a sudden, it's these short-term, and then I'm gone. The rest of my childhood was gone.
Because you were never disciplined. You were never taught respect, and then they couldn't handle you.
I had straight A's. I was in sports, but I walked across classroom tables. I was the class clown as well.
See, that's
I was... Yeah, I was the sub's nightmare. I was everything, but I got sent away.
And how much of it was if your mother, I don't know your whole childhood, I don't want to get into it totally, but had she disciplined you and raised you a little bit more with that 50s dad approach, do you think you would have been sent away?
I think definitely. I thrived off it when there was a few people in my life that they weren't my parents, unfortunately. She, and I can't blame her. She was weak and she was single, and my dad was not in the picture hardly at all. But no, I definitely would have benefited. Anyone that was strict with me and set the guidelines, and I'd go to church stoned and someone call me out on it, I would never do it again.
Right.
It was like I was testing every boundary, and I didn't have any boundaries in my home. But if I followed them other places if people stood up to me. So yeah, I needed it. And my kid, I have one that's definitely little me. And he has boundaries, and it's hard. It's hard to stick to, but he's got them, and I'm hoping he doesn't turn out the same way.
Well, last bombshell I'll drop is that for kids, and again, who am I? What do I know? Who gives a shit? I know what I'm talking about. Just accept it. Kids need boundaries. They need structure.
Crave them. I loved it. The ones that cared, I loved them more. It was weird.
Because that means when you give your kid boundaries, when you tell them the truth, not everything you do is golden, so they grow up to be a big, fat, bald, drunken loser doing a podcast that nobody fucking listens to when they're 33 years old. When you give them that structure when they're young, that's what you're saying to them is, I love you. I love you enough that I'm going to prepare you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you everything's golden. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to give you guidelines that if you follow these guidelines, you'll have a better, healthier life when you're an adult and you can understand this. That's what you do when you love a kid.
And I do verbalize that to them. You should verbalize that to them, not just set the boundaries and leave it. I say, you are not going to do this so that when you grow up, you will, you have to learn to follow this now so that you don't go to jail later, which is really harsh, but it's the truth.
Well, that's pretty much it. I mean, this show really, now that we're getting this down, maybe we need to talk about doing it a little bit longer because we only got 10 seconds left. And we're not going to go long today. So, if you really want to discipline your kid, here's what you do. Tie him up to jumper cables and let him do it 37 times. works.
It will work. It's just you'll be in jail.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That's terrible. But anyway, I want to thank everyone. I did clear my heart and soul out there. So if anyone wants to insult me or call me wuss, now's the time. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Pentland. And Jen, of course, at Madlou, and Eli, who's got a private account at eTruth. You can make fun of us there as much as you want to. All right, that was awesome.
You had a lot of listeners in the chat room today, too.
What were we up to,
them.
7?
No, I don't know. There's 14. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
special. I'm
yeah,
special.
you're pretty important now, Jake.
Praise me. All right.
I
don't even know
too, and no one knew.
You what?
I took a pee just now. No one knew.
Nice. I got to say, normally you'll talk more. I had to talk a lot today. This is not a normal thing. I think we're still
Don't
here.
listen to anybody. This is totally normal, but we'll keep.
You're going to talk more. We got to work on your Jew voice. I listened to the show. You got this Jew voice. I got to get you excited. You got to pretend like I'm Johnny Depp. How do you talk when Johnny Depp's around?
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah, see, that would be better. I'm kidding.
I have
I'm
dirty voices. I'll call my mom and use my dirty voice.
Well, we got to set up when you're going to electrocute me because I'm excited for that show.
Yeah, I think
God,
we'll do it. Yeah.
All right,
I'm
quit
gonna
talking.
use that shit. Bye.
All right, bye. Thanks, everybody.